Our next guest, Victoria Robinson, has been a Pregnancy Resource Center director of 3 centers in her 20-year career. She is now the Director of External Relations for the pro-life ministry Save the Storks. Please welcome Victoria Robinson.
Morning. How about we give it up for Jesus? You guys can make more noise than that at a ball game. Come on, let's give it up for Jesus. Yes. Thank you. He deserves a lot more applause than me or anybody else that's been on this platform today. I count it a privilege and an honor anytime that the Lord opens up a door for me to speak and share. So thank you, Louis, Layman's Ministries. I am so happy to be here. And wow, we're living in some trying times. I've been working in the pro-life work for over 20 years now. 32 years ago, I myself walked into an abortion clinic in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I chose abortion. I thought it was my only option because 64% of women in this country believe that to be true. It's just another lie that's been fed to very vulnerable women who are in a crisis. So when my boyfriend said it's time to have an abortion, we can't have children right now, and the woman at the abortion clinic told me it's not really a baby, you're so early, there's nothing there but tissue. We're just taking out a tumor out of your body. And when you leave this abortion clinic, never think of this again. I can tell you, I never thought of anything else. I was lied to by so many people, and I bought into it and believed it was my only choice. For over a decade, I walked around this world and this planet we live in, and I felt guilt and I felt shame. I felt that God could never love me, He could never forgive me, and I didn't deserve any kind of happiness in my life, because what kind of woman can take the life of her own child? And it was a pregnancy center in Concord, North Carolina, that reached out to me through their director who went to my church. And she kept coming up to me for 3 years trying to get me to come and be part of this ministry. And I kept refusing because I felt like God was punishing me again and torturing me to keep reminding me of what I'd done. And after a woman came to me at church on a Sunday morning crying, and she said, I felt like God told me that you could pray with me because I had an abortion years ago and I can't get over it. So I prayed with her on the spot, and I watched God change her countenance right before my eyes. And I went home that day and I said, what about me, God? You forget me every day that I'm still suffering from what I did. Is it because you hate me that you have these women come to me and share their abortion stories with me? And right at that moment, that sweet pregnancy center director who tried so hard to get me to come to that center, her face was right in my mind. And I realized God had been trying to heal me. He had been trying to make me whole again. I was the one who was refusing that help. So the next day I called Mary and I said, I'd like to come and volunteer. And that started my career in the pro-life movement. God took what the enemy meant to destroy me, and He turned it into good. And because of the death of my child, thousands of children have been saved as God has taken me across the country, and my testimony's been shared millions of times because of social media and online videos that are out there. So I give God all the glory and praise for that, because honestly, I shouldn't be standing here today. But I want to talk to you in the few minutes that I have. I don't want to leave here. There's so many things that I could talk to you about throughout my career. I'm now working with an organization called Save the Storks. And what we do at Save the Storks is partner with pregnancy resource centers across the country and help them raise the money to build stork buses. And they are parking these stork buses across the country at Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics. And they're offering women an option rather than abortion. 4 out of 5 women who come onto the stork bus for a free ultrasound without judgment or condemnation, we offer them love and compassion. And they step on our buses and they're choosing life, because you cannot deny a heartbeat. You cannot deny arms and legs on an ultrasound machine. What they keep from these women at these abortion clinics. because they don't want them to make that connection from their heart to that child. It's easy to tell a woman in crisis there's nothing there. It's easy to tell her this is the best thing for you. That woman at the abortion clinic looked at me as a single mother of two who was struggling, and she said, you would be selfish as a mother to bring another mouth to feed when you can barely feed the two you have. Abortion clinics are a multi-billion-dollar industry. That's why we have laws being passed and bills being blocked to save children who are born from botched abortion. That's why you saw what you saw in New York in January. This has been going on in our country since Roe v. Wade. Now they just have no problem telling you about it because of the culture we've created over the past 20 years. God, forgive us as Christians that we have sat on our blessed assurance and not done enough. I am telling you that I believe with all my heart that God is drawing a line in the sand. He is saying you're either in or you're out, because you cannot plead ignorance anymore when you see what's happening across this country, and we are slaughtering 3,000 babies a day legally. This is not just about these children. As a Christian, I know my child is with Christ the moment they sucked my child out of my body. But it's these men and women like me, 120 million of us in the United States, who are living with the ramifications of that choice. We cannot forget that there's not just one victim in an abortion. That mother is a victim. That father is a victim. Those grandparents, the siblings. It is a ripple effect in this country today. And there are people walking around with wounds, and they don't know where to go for help because they feel they'll be condemned by the church. God, help us that we don't show mercy and grace to men and women who've chosen abortion, because He died on that cross. And He rose again for people just like me too. So I challenge you this morning, and yes, I get passionate about when I'm talking about babies and when I'm talking about Americans and men and women in the millions who've never told anybody about having an abortion. For me, this is not about politics. This is not about religion. This is about human rights. So we don't need to be walking around talking about being pro-choice, pro-life. How about we just say we're pro-people? Because every one of us matters. God doesn't make mistakes, no matter how a child is conceived. And science has proven from conception we are humans with a unique DNA. The medical community has proven that babies in the womb feel fear and they feel pain. Abortion in this country should be unthinkable. God bless you guys. Now do something about it.